I'm hearing from these people. I'm hearing from brothers who believed not in all of the social things or the rhetoric or the religious part of who Donald Trump is, but in the actuality, in their minds, that Donald Trump was a whiz businessman that was going to fix the American economy. They're confused.
No, we're not, G. Well, since I'm one of the brothers you're speaking about, I will go ahead and tell you, no, I'm not confused, and I understand the complete play. It's like, bro, trust me, some of us are more intelligent than y'all think, and we understand the play here. We understand the play with tariffs. We understand the play with Russia. I remember we understand the play with Ukraine, Greenland. Bro, we understand the play here, and y'all are trying to make it seem like we're not educated enough to kind of get it, or we're uneducated enough to believe what y'all say about it. You know, everything Trump does is a bad idea to you guys. You guys said his tax plan was a bad idea in 2016. It worked out for everybody. So we're kind of not really hearing you guys out when it comes to this. The tariffs are bad. It's going to send us into an economic depression. And no, it's not. It's not.
They don't know what's going on. They did not vote for harder times. And the reality is, as much spin as can be done on any network, it is going to be, in my opinion, irreparable harm done to the president's reputation if people experience a tremendous amount of pain, even in the short term, from the tariffs.
Yeah, I mean, a tremendous amount of harm done to his reputation, but also I just want to, I need to correct the record, because I feel like I hear a lot of conservatives talking about, oh, the last time when Trump was in office, he put in those tariffs and everything was fine. Okay, here is JP Morgan talking about what happened the last time when he put in those tariffs. Steel tariffs created about 1,000 jobs for steelmakers who were protected by tariffs. They reduced employment by 75,000 in steel using industries such as autos and construction as prices rose and sales fell. Similarly, in all industries affected by Trump's tariffs, duties boosted factory employment by 0.4%, but reduced payrolls by 2% because of overall costs rising and retaliatory
By the way,
tariffs. It costs jobs to raise prices.
By the way, there's something else to pay attention to when you're looking at the job creation from the tariffs and the first.
Yeah, but that's before he enacted the, oh yes, let's bring jobs back here. Let's deregulate. Let's do some deregulation so we can get you access to some of our own minerals and rare earths. So yeah, if you let the man finish the plan instead of cheating him out of an election, we would be right where he wanted us to be. But hey, how'd y'all handle it the 4 years? Did you continue to plan, or did you completely shoot it down? Or did you spend the whole 4 years shooting Americans in the foot? Like, come on now. We got 4 bullets in our foot for every year y'all been in office.
First Trump administration, the price per job. When you look at some of the jobs that were created, you're paying, in one case, like $815,000 per job for the jobs that were created because of the costs that are offset by the tariffs themselves. Yeah. So it's not a great way of job creation. It's very costly to the American public to do it that way.
You know what's sad about this is 90,000 factories did shut down in America since 2000. And Trump said, there's a hole in the ship. And that's one of the reasons he won. And to Van's point, people thought he's a business guy. He's going to fix this. And he's going to disappoint those towns. He's going to disappoint those people who've been betrayed for the last 40 years.
And a lot of people don't understand that. I think like my man Castro said it perfectly. He's like, bro, do you understand that this downturn is from all these, companies taking advantage of the tariffs? And now that the tariffs are gone, they're going to be experiencing low sales and higher prices. So it's either they correct themselves and they get even to America, produce here where there are no tariffs, or they can stay out there and let the competition take over. It is what it is.
Because this is
short term
going to help improve their lives. And there's going to be more disillusionment in this country and more anger that their lives aren't changing. And that to me is the saddest part of all of this.
And shout out Johnson. Hey, he's not lying. Look, a lot of y'all can see this as a stock market crashing, or a lot of y'all can see this as, hey, hold on. Hey, guys, the stocks are on sales, man. Let's buy it up.
Well, I think what is true today was true for Joe Biden and every other president that came before either of these two guys. If people feel like their economic trajectory is on the upswing, they will give you political leash. And if they feel like their own trajectory is on the downswing, they will punish you. You go back to Ronald Reagan, and he even though there were hard times in that first Reagan term, people felt like the country was getting back on the right track. They were willing to give him time because they believed in his program. They believed.
Exactly. And it's kind of funny that day one and you guys are giving the forecast. It's like, bro, can we wait? Can we wait a good, like, I don't know, 6 months? Let 2 quarters pass by, let 2 financial quarters pass by, then let's talk about it. I was even being reasonable and being like, all right, let's wait till the quarter's done, then let's talk. But y'all are making judgments on the market first day is crazy. I mean, there were times the market was crashing under Biden. There was not a word was said, not a word.
In the confidence that Reagan was projecting about America. That's what Trump has to do here to the people that you think are going to be impacted in the short term. And they may well be, and Trump has acknowledged that. He has to make them believe that the long-term implications for this and their communities is worth it, even if they're experiencing a little short-term pain. So the political implication, Abby, I think all goes on to the trajectory. Do you feel like things will go better in the future? And that is the salesman's challenge.
It also has to be true, because at the end of the day, if people start losing their jobs, which some of them will, this is going to end badly for Trump. So rhetoric is not going to do anything about that.
I mean, look, all right, here's the thing. Like I said, we're going to experience a pinch point, but here's the problem though. Trump has already added jobs. Actually, job report came out and 228,000 jobs was added to the market last month in February. Where?
I just want to play what one car dealer said earlier this morning, just about what's ahead for his business, pretty much immediately.
The cost is going to get passed to the consumer. There's no doubt about that. There's nothing we can do about that. I can't eat the cost. No matter what, all of us are going to sell less cars. And then we have to make this hard decision. So that's laying people off. That's cutting vendors out. That's reducing our inventory.
Or you can change vendors to, the ones that are made in America. You could probably start selling more American-made cars instead of the foreign ones. I mean, there's some business choices you can make. I mean, if you want a hard line on foreign goods, then trust me, my man, it's not going to look too good for you.
And not ordering as many cars. All these things, to me, are negative impacts to the economy.
But I think he's got to get some deals in the short term, right? He's got to get some wins early, start equaling out these with our trading partners. If he gets those early wins and people start to see progress, he will continue to have that leash.
You know what's interesting? We're having a lot of conversations about President Trump and his political future and what it means for him to lose people. What we're not talking about, at least in a robust way, are the actual American people. The people who are being asked right now to sacrifice, to pay higher prices, to potentially lose their jobs for an economic future that they can't see and that there's absolutely zero clarity on, that you don't know why.
I mean, here's the thing. That's almost everybody who does something new. Like Reagan, there was zero clarity if it was going to work out, and they was going off the projection of it, and it worked out. There's a lot of times president gave us all right, man, this is what we want. Like, think about it like this. Imagine how much of the projection, hey, this war, we're going to be in here for like a week, or we're going to in 2 days. Don't worry, it's not going to be long. We're going to have our soldiers out there 12 years later. It's like, bro, like all presidents give us a projection of something, and it's up for us to have faith. Now, I know you guys are out here jumping ships, selling the worst story ever, but no, that's not what's happening, guys. And you, like I said, you're sticking on tariffs without bringing in the other, things that's been happening. So like I said, Trump enacted these tariffs. A lot of countries then came over here and worked out deals with America. A lot of countries have went from doing business in China or another country and brought their business over here. Y'all neglected that. Tell that part, huh? And I see why. You're too busy trying to fearmonger.
Why the tariffs are really there. You get 4 or 5 different answers as to why they're there. You don't know how they're going to benefit, but you're expected to lose your job, pay higher prices, not buy a car, do all of this stuff.
People are still going to buy cars, G, and nobody's losing their job. I mean, like I said, jobs has only been added since last month. So what you guys are saying, fear-mongering on, is not being reflected. Now, if we want to see the real effects of Trump's tariffs on the job market, well, I guess we'll come back at the end of April, and then we'll go ahead and see the numbers from then. Because numbers from February is up, and they don't really go along with what this man is saying. So let's give it another month. Let's see if his words have any validity.
For what?
I think that the choices facing the administration are tough, but one of them is just to change course. They can do that at any moment, and I think it's also possible, given how Trump has behaved in the past, that he.
Nope. I want Trump to ride this out. I want him to ride it out till the wheels fall off. Let's go. We're gonna ride it out. I mean, like I said, it doesn't seem like this is like a game of chicken. Like we're holding our tariff strong, and every country's in our ear going, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. Let us take advantage of you. Let it go. And we're just sitting here just like, nope, we're gonna hold on to it. It kind of just seems like the biggest game of chicken. Like they want us to let go, but and think about it like this, they're holding on to their shit too. And we're just looking at them like, all right, well, who's gonna let go first? It's like a game of chicken that we're playing, but guess what? We're stronger than them. Like, come on, man, we can hang on for days. Y'all about 5 minutes.
Would do that in the future, maybe even the near future.
Now, let's get over to the next criticism, because Schumer comes out and criticizes as well. And like I said, hey, we listen to the left here. Don't worry.
I want to begin with something in the Senate you would call a point of personal privilege, and it's something that the Republican Senator Bernie Moreno said about you. I'm going to read it to you. He said that Republicans are independently minded. This is a quote. Democrats are monolithic sheep that follow the Führer, Schumer's orders. What is your reaction to that, Senator?
It is despicable. It is outright anti-Semitism. I lost family in the Holocaust, relatives who were little babies and adults. And to use the word Führer in the same breath is just despicable, disgusting. He ought to apologize. It is outright anti-Semitism, no question about it.
Needless to say, Donald Trump has had no objection to Bernie Moreno using that word about you. That's the same Donald Trump who says that you are no longer Jewish.
Damn.
Yeah, look, Donald Trump is, he may not be an anti-Semite.
I mean, you are on the party that's, pro-Palestine, which is ironic. I mean, hey, I'm pro-Palestine too, but I mean, I ain't on the liberal party, so it kind of doesn't look, I'm not Jewish on the liberal party, so it don't look weird for me to be pro-Palestine, but for a Jewish guy on the liberal, on the Democratic side, who most of them is pro-Palestine, you're looking a little weird, my friend. You're looking a little weird.
Semite, but he certainly tolerates anti-Semitism in so many ways, calling me a Palestinian, don't tell my mother, but also talking about in Charlottesville, both sides had good people. When he brings an anti-Semite like Fuentes to sit at his table at Mar-a-Lago, when the Great Replacement theory, which we all know is a conspiracy theory among the hard right, that Jews are trying to replace the white race with immigrants. Every other president, Lawrence, every other president, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, whether it's Reagan or Bush or Clinton or Obama, when there was bigotry, their job was to push it down. Donald Trump, he either revels in it or just lets it stay right there. That shows you one of the many, many reasons he doesn't deserve to be president.
Senator, you represent the state and the city where the stock market is located, the most important stock market in the world. That stock market now has spent a week suffering from the greatest drop in stock market history caused by the single action of a president. What do you say to Wall Street tonight?
What I say to Wall Street.
I mean, when you put a policy out there that affects how these companies have been taking advantage of Americans, I could expect that. Trust me. Anybody who know how these corporations work and what they've been doing behind the scenes with these countries, we knew that this was going to be a downturn. We was like, yeah, y'all gonna have to, configure some things on how y'all do business now, because the way I have is not going to lose you money. And it's only exposing how much of these countries actually were depending on foreign workers and the ability to sell into the USA. Like, it's kind of exposing a lot here.
It is this man is a menace. Donald Trump, this is about the worst decision, or one of the worst decisions Donald Trump has made. And given his presidency, that's saying a whole lot. Why are they doing this? Why are they imposing such tariffs on people? I'll tell you, there's one reason, Lawrence. They want to use this money for tax breaks for billionaires. And they're making the average American family pay. It's now estimated about.
How are they going to use it for tax break for billionaires? And what are okay, so bringing it down to corporate tax, which us raising it kind of got some of these corporations out here in the first place. Like I'm saying, it's like, bro, yeah, the Dems want to be able to not only raise taxes on the rich, but somehow keep employment up, and that's not how it works. you're going to have to bring down taxes on the rich to go ahead and bring employment up. You guys cannot sit here and think you guys can get it both ways.
$5,000 a year. These are across the board tariffs, prices of everything, whether it's food or medicine or gasoline or a car or clothing or furniture or buying a home are going to go way up. And middle class people are going to suffer for this, suffer dramatically. So will the economy. You know, when you're as uncertain and as erratic as Donald Trump is on issues like this, businesses.
Do any of you go to college? Bro, for such an uneducated comment is absolutely hilarious. Like, bro, okay. Tariffs are the opposed to free trade. I mean, we're technically engaged in free trade with some of these countries that have import bans on us and that have high tariffs on us. We're in free trade with Canada, but Canada got tariffs on our products. We're in free trade with the European Union. They got tariffs on our products. So how did that make sense with what you just said?
Don't spend money. Consumers, their confidence is lower than it's been in close to a decade. They don't spend money. It's just ridiculous. And the way they implement it, it's you either laugh or cry. They've actually put tariffs on penguins, but not on Putin, because in their tariffs are two islands, the Heard Island and McDonald Island, which only have penguins on them. This is just government that is.
And can we please understand how? Okay, look. Communist regime, okay? We don't like if they go against the American interest, we don't just disappear them. Well, unless they're a crypto billionaire or something, but that's besides the point. Look, if we raise taxes high enough, we make it hard enough for them to make money, they will move to another country where we've allowed them in the past to not only get cheaper labor, a cheaper corporate tax, and still let them sell into this country at what? The risk of American jobs. Do you not understand that part?
Is reckless. It is the bottom line, Lawrence. There's a group of hard right, angry billionaires. They always wanted to.
Actually, y'all claim y'all against the rich, but you guys are in support of the system that benefits the rich. Us trying to tax the rich only helps the rich. I'm gonna tell you why. Because that means they can go out to a whole nother country, build their stuff there. I mean, what was the point of that? You guys do not understand that you guys are in support of helping out billionaires and millionaires. Yes, the same ones you guys want to tax to death, the same ones you say they need to pay their fair share. You're helping them not pay their fair share, not pay their taxes no more, because they go out into another country, they pay their taxes and no longer paying the taxes to ours. So what's y'all point here?
Run the government. Donald Trump has let them run the government, and they are just hurting the country, betraying. Donald Trump is betraying the middle class, and people are seeing it. The stock market went down even before this happened. Look what happened in Wisconsin and even in Florida. The American people are seeing that Donald Trump lied to them in the campaign, is doing just the opposite of what he said. Remember, he said prices would go down on day one. Now with these tariffs, they're skyrocketing. They are seeing that he doesn't keep his promises, that he betrays them, and that his whole way of being is.
Well, do you believe that America could continue on this path of gutting our middle class and outsourcing work? Do you believe we could have continued on that path with our spending the way it is, with the deficit the way it is? Could we have continued on that path, Schumer? And if you say no, then I'm be like, then bro, we were brought to this point by bad policies, by terrible presidents. Well, when it came to trade, at least. So you can't sit here and criticize this this agenda while not also admitting that, we kind of needed this. And there's going to be a pinch point, but this would have to happen because we cannot continue down this path. And I would ask Schumer that, do you think, or do you have a plan to where we could continue selling ourselves out to foreign countries and still not, and, save our middle class? No, there is no way. So I really wonder, where's all this criticism coming from with no other plan? And that's all I've been hearing is criticism. I've been hearing.
He's in this billionaire bubble with his friends Musk and Lutnick and people like that, and they just care about themselves.
Senator, Donald Trump has taken the full blame publicly. Every stock market analyst that you see on CNBC, many of whom are Republicans, every one of them blames the president's announcement about tariffs for what's happening in the stock market. But the Constitution of the United States gives total power over tariffs to the Congress. The Republicans who run the House of Representatives have the constitutional authority to originate the tariff legislation there.
Right.
Or not, the economy was still going down. You know that, right? Okay, good. Now we have that understanding that the economy was already doing what it was doing already. Now that we have that understanding. So what do you mean we should give no grace period? I mean, we're just going to be in the same position we're in now. Because we take tariffs off doesn't mean the economy is going to go up. It just means that we're still going to be in the same shitty position we were in. Like, do you not understand? Like, there has to be some type of grace period. You can't just say we should just start bashing Democrats immediately. You're trying to sow, I'm gonna be real with you, impatience. So you're telling me we gave patience to Biden for 4 freaking years and said nothing. But y'all can't give this man up 2 months, 6 months, 6 months. But we gave y'all 4 years of screwing shit up. I can't believe y'all.
Tariffs.
Zero. And we're seeing, all of these Republicans, even those who know Donald Trump is wrong, have just gone along with him in every way in obeisance. But for the first time today on tariffs, we're seeing a little bit of a crack. Senator Klobuchar has a bill with actually Senator Grassley, as you know, a Republican from Iowa, that says no tariffs unless Congress approves them. And they've gotten 4 or 5 Republican co-sponsors. Tonight, as we do the voting on reconciliation, I am introducing legislation that says no tariffs will go into effect if it rises price.
Oh, sure. Thanks for letting me know, Castro. Hold on, man. Let me free up some bandwidth then. I think I'm running everything on the Wi-Fi. So let's switch out to that one. I mean, shout out to having 2 Wi-Fis.
If it raises prices in any way, we're going to ask our Republicans. We'll see how many of them vote with us. But if they don't vote with us and the prices go up, which they're inevitably going up, they will feel the heat. They're beginning to feel the heat as shown by Klobuchar's bill. But I think there'll be a lot more heat on them in, day out, because this is the greatest this is the Trump tariff tax. It's hurting the middle class by more than anything. $5,000 a year. Prices go up across the board when inflation's been the #1 issue. I believe the Republicans will politically pay a very large price if they stick with Trump on these tariffs.
Senator, you have a long night ahead of you. It's one of those nights in the Senate, once again, where the Republicans are trying to push through a budget framework, budget resolution that will require a minimum of a $5 trillion increase in the national debt over time because of the Trump tax cuts and other provisions in this bill. You have a series of amendments which is traditional in these situations for the opposition to have amendments where you're going to try to pick away at what they're doing. Can you give us a preview possibly of some of those votes that we'll be seeing overnight? Because this is going to go well into the wee hours of the morning.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to have amendments against these terrible tax breaks. We're going to have amendments on Social Security. They're trying to destroy Social Security. We're going to have amendments on the corruption and self-dealing of Musk and Trump. We're going to have amendments preventing these Medicaid cuts. We're going to have amendments stopping cuts to veterans. We're going to have amendments dealing with education cuts. It's going to be across the board. And we are going to show in every way how Donald Trump is doing things that hurt the middle class across the board. Help the billionaires, and Republicans will vote against us at their political peril. The American people are totally against this, and we're beginning to see the signs of that. You saw what happened in Wisconsin, even in Florida, and you're going to see many more signs like this because, again, Trump betrayed the American people. He promised one thing in the campaign. He's doing the exact opposite. Hold on. And on amendment after amendment after amendment.
Y'all immigration policies wasn't betraying the American people. You guys lying about Biden's mental cognitive, like his mental clarity, like that wasn't betraying the American people. Hold on now. I mean, that's very funny. I was more I'm sorry, but more corporations to leave here. That's what was betraying the American people. Your guys' tax plan that Kamala was going to do by raising corporate taxes. Like I said, what do you guys think that was going to do? You think these corporations were really going to pay their fair share? No. These corporations were going to leave, and then they were going to try to hide it by adding government jobs.
They're going to expose the Republicans and Trump for their hypocrisy.
And the way these things work, as you and I know, is it's extremely unlikely that you will win these amendments or any of these amendments. But what it is, and the leader's job tonight, your job tonight, is to give all of the Senate campaigns coming up the ammunition of the votes that you will force Republicans to cast tonight. Votes
Exactly.
about
Man, let's go ahead and get my man his celebration real quick. Appreciate that. Wait, froze. Did I? Let's see here. Yeah, it is looking a little weird on my side right now. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I need to switch something out. What the heck? What? Really? Y'all hear me? For a sec. All right, cool. My bad. But shout out my man Daniel Castro. He says, crybabies are gonna see. Put your money up and give me it. Hey, let me see here. Yeah. Oh wow. Let's do it. Crazy enough. All right, hold on, guys. Let's see if I can get this fixed on my end. In the meantime,
Support Republicans who embrace Trump. That is a goal of ours. Obviously, it will help us come election time, but we're fighting them every day. And my message to Democrats is, as bad as Trump is, and as bad as the American people are seeing he is, we have to fight every single day to show them what he's doing and what we will stand for in complete opposite of what Trump wants.
Senator, I want to distinguish for the audience what's being voted on tonight. This is different from that bill that came up a couple of weeks ago that was simply to continue the funding of the government so the government would not have a shutdown. Right. Tonight is the future budget of the United States for years and for years to come. And I want to go back to that difficult vote you cast on keeping the government open. Yes. And let me just stipulate, I don't want to get into a long discussion of it, but I completely, in my view of the way things work in the Senate and the government, completely agreed with your reading of the situation. And I firmly believe that keeping the government open was the better of the two terrible options that you had in front of you. So I'm one who actually thinks you did what the leader has to do in a moment like that.
Let me just say, a shutdown, Lawrence, would have been even worse than the CR. I knew that there would be opposition, but as you said, sometimes a leader has to do this. You know, I tell people when you're on the political mountain, the higher you climb, the more fiercely the winds blow. The only thing that keeps you from being blown off is your internal gyroscope. And I believe then, and I believe now.
I agreed with your view that a shutdown would have been a gift, particularly to Elon Musk and the kinds of crimes against government he could get away with. But let me go to that. Let me go to that point, Senator, because this is the first time you've really faced some really stiff criticism inside the party. Some people just thinking your time should be up as a leader. What do you have to say to them tonight about your future as a leader of the Senate?
Here's what I'm saying. We are united. My whole caucus, whether they voted for me or against me on that issue, or agreeing with me or disagreeing, we're totally united on how we fight Trump. And it's something we have to do relentlessly, but it simply says he is cutting so many things that the middle class wants, to give tax cuts to billionaires. You're going to hear that as a united caucus. I think we'll have every Democrat vote for every amendment. And if we keep united and keep our focus trained on Trump, we can certainly bring down his popularity and make those Republicans who vote with him pay that political price.
What did Cory Booker's record-setting holding of the Senate floor, 25 hours, what did that mean for Democrats going forward? I have to tell you, Senator, from out here,
it was great.
In the grandstand, it looked like a turning point.
Let me tell you, it was. He was great. Not only the physical stamina, 25 hours, and I worked with him a little bit on this. He showed such preparation and such perseverance. But as important as the length of time he spoke, which was incredible, was what he said. He gave such a severe, well thought out, comprehensive indictment of the Trump regime that it caught Americans' attention and helped us advance the cause of letting the people.
That man did not catch anybody's attention. Y'all overglorified it, and then you wanted us to praise him for standing 9 hours without having to take a piss. That's it.
The American people know how bad Trump is and how he has sold them out. So I salute him. Our caucus loves him. As I said that night when I told him he broke the record, not only do we love you, Cory, America loves you.
Senator, just one last.
Cory, I'm going to tell you this right now. America does not care. You did nothing but complain with no real plan. But all right, though. Let's get over to the next video here. Be right back while I go figure out the connection problem here.
America, I'm Mark Levin, and this is Life, Liberty, and Levin Saturday. Welcome. We have Gordon Chang and Mark Goldfeder. I want to introduce you to Mark. He's a great lawyer. These are two great guests, and we'll be with them in a moment. But Donald Trump is about to do something in economics that's never been done in American history. I want you to listen to me very carefully. You have people talking about tariffs like they know what they're talking about. People talking about tax cuts like they know what they're talking about, and so forth and so on. They really have no idea what they're talking about. I'd like you to listen to me very, very carefully. Donald Trump is trying to do all of the following at the same time, simultaneously. He wants to slash income and business taxes, slash federal, individual income taxes, federal, corporate income taxes, other taxes, not for billionaires, for all Americans. He wants to,
like he did last year, like he did last, I mean, not my bad, like he did last term. What happened? Everybody admitted that, yeah, even they pay less taxes. I pay less taxes. The rich paid less taxes. Everybody paid less taxes. But now all of a sudden, the Dems, I mean, before when the Dems were speaking before the Trump, what was it? The Trump tax cut expired. They're going like, oh, everybody's going to get a huge tax raise. It's going to be the biggest tax raise in history. And then right when we get it through, right when we get those tax cuts through, they want to talk about all he did was give tax cuts to his billionaire friends. It's like, bro, y'all speak out of both sides of y'all mouth. And one side y'all say y'all need it. Then as soon as we get it, y'all talking about tax breaks to
federal, individual income taxes, federal, corporate income taxes, other taxes, not for billionaires, for all Americans. He wants to slash, and is, regulations. He wants to slash government spending. We've never seen anything like Doge and Elon Musk and those folks in our lives. He wants to slash the size of government, trying to eliminate departments and agencies and personnel. We've never seen anything like this. At the same time, he's increasing tariffs. Now, is he increasing tariffs because he likes increasing tariffs? No, he's increasing tariffs because other countries have been increasing tariffs against us without any response. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. Now, why is this so important? Well, obviously, we want the economy to do well, except for the Democrats. They want it to tank because they think it'll help them. But put them aside. This is the most aggressive effort
going. My bad, guys. My bad. A lot was going down. But I got y'all. Don't worry. We still back in action.
95% of the federal government was funded by tariffs at a rate of approximately 20% on average. Now, follow me. We had two major industrial revolutions during this time. From 1750 to 1850, there was no income tax, only tariffs. The second big industrial revolution was from 1850 to 1913. 1913, the passing of the federal income tax under the 16th Amendment. The two great industrial revolutions occurred when tariffs were funding the federal government and there was no federal income tax. What I would argue is the third great industrial revolution occurred under Ronald Reagan for 6 of his 8 years. With his massive tax cuts across the board, we hadn't seen anything like that since the second great industrial revolution. The economy grew under Reagan by almost 30% by the time he left office. It grew more than what was then West Germany. It was massive. In fact, it grew into the Clinton administration, which helped balance the budgets. It started in about 1983 and it went into the mid-1990s. And despite what people say, if you look at Reagan's record on free markets, it was not stellar. In fact, the Cato Institute, Reason Magazine, these libertarians, they were very upset with him at the time. So when you hear Rand Paul, one of the 4 Republicans who voted the other day, and says, this takes us back to the 1930s, no, it doesn't. Because in the 1930s, there was massive increase in spending. There wasn't slashing of taxes. There wasn't slashing of regulations. And the Depression went on for 10 years from 1929 to 1939 because Franklin Roosevelt was a socialist. Donald Trump is a capitalist. But there's even more than that. The Great Depression that occurred in our country, we've had really 2 Great Depressions. And the 2 Great Depressions occurred from 1873 to 1879, the first Great Depression. And the second Great Depression was from 1929 to 1939. No less a great economist than Milton Friedman, a libertarian, by the way, made the point, the Great Depression that occurred from 1929 to 39 wasn't due to tariffs. It was due to monetary policy. And he points out there was a severe monetary contraction by the Federal Reserve. So when the money should have been freed up for investment at the time when the economy is beginning to contract, he has argued that what the Federal Reserve did is they took a bad recession and they turned it into a depression by tightening money. In fact, he wrote extensively about this. He said the stock of money, the money supply, from 1929 to 33 fell by over 1/3, by over 33%. So there wasn't enough cash available for people to actually physically buy things or invest because the Federal Reserve contracted the monetary policy so much, the contracting economy collapsed. And then, of course, on top of that, you had the socialist policies of FDR. 2 great professors from UCLA, economists, wrote about this too. Donald Trump is doing nothing like this. First of all, he's not in charge of monetary policy. What he's doing is something that's never been done in American history. He's looking at the size of government. He's shrinking it. He's looking at the spending of government. He's trying to shrink it. He's looking at the regulations. He's trying to shrink them. He's looking at the size of government, the number of employees. He's trying to shrink it. He's looking at the taxes. He's trying to slash them. All pro-growth, all private sector oriented, all middle class oriented, all capital, R&D, consumer oriented. That's not what happened at these other times. That's a key issue. At the same time, he's using tariffs to do what? To re-industrialize America in areas that we've been de-industrialized. We can't even build ships anymore. We have to rely on other countries for so much of what we do. Now let's take a careful look at this. Capital goods, excluding automotive, took the top spot of imports in 2023, clocking in at $859.1 billion. What does that include? Electric devices, computers were the two highest types of capital goods imported, telecommunications equipment, industrial machinery, followed in the highest values of imports. This category also includes semiconductors, food machinery, air